We've known essentially since for the last 50 years that when you look at the same person over several decades, it's actually very normal for us to maintain function. So like the Seattle Longitudinal Study was run by a guy called Warner Shai in Seattle. And it was one of the first studies where they measured cognitive function in the same people every 7 years for several decades. And like every 7 years, they measured the same people and brought in new people. And so they ended up with people who were like in their 20s up to over 100 years old. And they found that the average effect, by that I mean that more than 50% of people maintained the same level of cognitive function into their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And those data were used to actually raise the retirement age in the US in the 1980s because they showed that it actually wasn't normal for people to decline. But the problem is now we've embodied this idea that as you get older, you will decline. And as a result, you stop engaging in all the things that we've talked about. Because you're like, oh, I'm too old to lift that. I'm too old to learn a new skill. I don't have time to do that. And as a result, right, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You stop engaging in those processes and decline happens as a result.